Good morning, you little fuckers. Welcome to the Four Seasons podcast.
Whoa, chill out, bro. It's not that kind of podcast.
It is that podcast. We are doing this.
Yeah, I feel the aggressiveness in your tone, and I don't like it.
It's always aggressive. I like it aggressive. Aggressive. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everyone. Let's go. Good morning. Welcome back again to another freaking episode of Four Seasons. Morning, Vato, Mike, Nick.
Morning.
Another episode.
Grand rising, everybody. Welcome
Hey,
in.
just a little update. We had a bunch of good reviews from our first episode. Blessed to hear all the good comments, all the feedback. But today's episode is about friends with exes. You guys ready?
Friends with exes? Did you say friends with exes or going to Texas?
Yeah, man, you gotta speak up. I can't hear you.
Friends with exes.
There we
Oh,
go. There we go.
I was hoping you would have said friends in Texas, but I mean,
All my exes live in Texas.
if that's the case, then I can't go to Texas anymore. I hope my girl's not watching.
I have a request. We're going to have to block Annie for this one.
Oof.
Anybody from TikTok, I'm sorry. You guys are going to be blocked from this episode.
and Vato, you've been married to your wife for so long. Do you even remember any of your exes, Vato?
I do, and I think I do kind of have a story that I'd like to share about an ex that tried to come back into my life, probably 4 years into our marriage, and like I accepted her friend request, and we just went off about it as friends. We didn't even date for that long, bro. We probably were together for like 7 months.
Oh wow, okay.
And I had to leave that city to come back to my hometown and come work during the summer, because this is when I was going to school. And she came back into my life, bro, and I told Annie about it later on in life, because it's just the right thing to do, right? But this girl, bro, when I left, she broke up with me because I left, and then a couple of weeks later, she got with one of my friends, one of my boys, and I just let it go. I'm like, it is what it is, it is what it is. Because him and I conversated, and he's like, hey man, does it bother you that I'm with her? Like, I really don't give a shit, bro. Life is going forward, But then years later, she friended me on Facebook, and then one day she broke down to me. She's like, oh man, I wish that we would have gone a little bit different. She's like, I see how you treat your wife. It looks like you treat her right. And, the person that I'm with isn't treating me the best. And it's kind of treats me in a way that I don't want to be treated. And she's like, I don't know, she kind of tried to shoot her shot. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work out, because I love my wife. I don't think this is going to work out. So
Wow.
I unfriended her and I blocked her. And then later on, I told Annie about what happened, because it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why this subject is a weird subject, because Annie and I do have friends that we're exes with on social media, but there were people that were in our life for like, not that long as in a relationship with. Like, a lot of hers are like from middle school, those like go on a date, go to the movies type of shit. And so it is what it is, and I know that I know how she interacts with people.
Mhm.
So for me, I would say that it's not really a bad thing. But however, what are the boundaries that are being set? There has to be boundaries. Boundaries is everything in our marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Boundaries it's everything, and no matter what it is, there's always got to be some sort of boundary. But let me bounce off of something real quick, because something you've said sparked something in me that I kind of have a question. I don't know if this will spin off somewhere else at a later date, but she told you, I kind of wish things would have worked out a little better because I see the way that you treat your wife. So that right there kind of hit me, because just because that you treat your wife a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that that woman would have received the same treatment. You know what I mean? It's because your wife treats you a certain way. Your wife holds you to a certain standard. You hold your wife to a certain standard. And that's why your wife gets the treatment. Do you think? Ooh, I don't know.
I want to know why she friend zoned you in the beginning, just to. Is it because she didn't see something in you until she saw you treat a woman right, or what was it? How did you guys? How did your friendship start?
So I dated her way before I even knew who Annie was, right? And
that's where it's from.
I treated her. I mean, bro, like I guess you could say when I'm in a relationship, bro. And I don't know, maybe I can't really say that anymore because I'm 14 years deep with Annie. But back then, bro, I would always treat a woman with respect, regardless. You know, and I would always be that person. I was an asshole, but I was like an asshole to people that I wasn't with, you know. But when I was with somebody, right, I would be a scholar and a gentleman, I guess you can say, in my way of how I would talk to women and how I would respect them, and how I would disrespect them when it was time to disrespect them, you know.
Yeah.
So the quote. So I'm trying to grasp this. So the girl that you guys were friends, and she came at you sideways, not sideways, but sideways in a good way. Well, in her case, it'd be a good way. Your case, a bad way. Saying that she confessed her feelings, saying, you know, I seen the way you treat your wife. Therefore, now I feel a type of way. You used to date her in the past?
I dated her 7 months. I dated her for 7 months. And then she said that it wasn't going to work out because she felt it was a long distance relationship. But in reality, it wasn't a long distance relationship. I was just gone for the summer. And then she hooked up with one of my boys. Mm-hmm. So I just let it go. You know, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. The bros can have her.
And you kept her as a friend? You kept her as a friend after?
No. So later on in life, she friend requested me through Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, well, we were only together for 7 months. It wasn't like too much of an intense thing for me, you know, but I guess it's true what they say. You can't be with somebody for a certain amount of time without catching a feeling.
Right. See,
yeah, right.
The way I look at it is if you had history with a person, I think that's a little different story. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way I look at it is, let's say you just met a woman and you guys hit it off and you guys became friends, right? And one of you guys made the decision not to move forward, or both of you guys made that decision. Something had to happen where you guys just remain friends. We're talking about, like, let's say you get into a relationship and that person you never had a history with, but it could have been something there. Could have been. And then that's where the problem comes into the relationship. And this is where the whole part of the thing is, like, is it okay to have that person around while you're in a relationship, knowing the fact, especially you knowing the fact that you had history with that individual?
Yeah, I get the question, bro. It's and it definitely depends on the level of characters, you know, and the level that you were able to build up with somebody. Because when she friend requested me, I just looked at it as, all right, you know, she's somebody from the past. We didn't do too much. We hung out a lot, and it was more like a friendship, but we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And then back then, I was probably about to be 19. So looking back at certain things, you know, it's not like
you're young.
Like, she wasn't going to be the woman that I married. She wasn't going to be the woman of my dreams. You know, she wasn't what I was looking for. I already had my mind set on what I wanted out of life with women.
Yeah, you had Annie.
Yeah. Annie is exactly everything that I ever asked the universe and I asked my creator for.
That's good. So you did the right thing, man. You did the right thing. Essentially, you did the right thing.
I just said, you know what? Like, and this has happened many times, bro, because with what I do as a business, you know, a lot of women they gravitate towards whatever's going to give them the most attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had women that I had to let go of in my business because of the connection that they made with me, and I had to let them go as clients because of how they started talking to me. Even though I told them, hey, I'm married, I got to set this boundary, and there are women that I had to kick out when I was working in the clinic doing what I do now. I had to talk to my supervisor and say, hey, this woman is bringing me gifts. She's stalking me on Facebook, telling me that my wife is beautiful and that she's fortunate and all this other shit. And I'm like, that's weird. Yeah, bro. I guess one of the mistakes that we can do is like, my wife has some friends on Facebook that she dated, but it was like a back in middle school, back in high school type of thing. So I see that as a different thing. But then again, how is that person trying to come back into her life? And see, in the last 14 years of my wife and I being together, man, she has blocked so many fucking dudes that try to shoot their shot after she told them, hey, that's not appropriate, and then block. So my wife goes on a block party.
I think you get more attention in a relationship and as a married person than you do when you're a single person.
Exactly. I'm like, where the fuck were all these women when I was single? Now look,
it's true. It's absolutely 100% true.
If I don't go to bars, I don't drink, right? But like once in a while, my family will come to town and they'll be like, hey, let's go shoot some pool.
Yeah.
I don't wear this because I've noticed that when I wear this in a bar setting, it's a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Because they might not want the commitment, they just want the fun that comes with.
Go ahead, so you take your ring off while you go to the clubs or go to bars?
I don't go to clubs.
I'll be fighting these girls off.
If I go to bars, bro, it's because my family members came over and they're like, that's the only place that has to shoot pool. So we go shoot pool.
Right.
And and I just don't wear it because it is a magnet. Mosca, you were gonna say something, bro.
Yeah. So does Annie know that you take it off for that reason?
Yeah, she knows. Like I've had this on while Annie and I were in a bar setting together when we used to go to those type of places. Yeah. And women would come and say things to me in front of her.
So I would have to agree with that because I have a necklace with a ring on it and it has my kids' initials and I used to wear it all the time. Every time, even as a single man, every time I wear it, women obviously want to talk to me. So I don't wear it because of that. It's just if you want to talk to me, don't talk to me because I have a ring on.
Maybe I'm a different type of breed here, but I wouldn't let my environment justify if I have my ring on or not. If I'm married, I'm proud to have my ring on, and I don't give a shit who sees it. Right. So if I go to a club, or I go to a bar, I'm keeping that shit on because that shows my loyalty to my wife or fiance or whatever the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when guys, we get so strapped up on how other people affect what we show and what we're proud of. I understand the whole concept, taking the ring off, less attraction, but at the end of the day, if I'm keeping my ring on, if someone comes up to me, I'll be like, look it, I'm fucking married, or I'm in a good relationship, go away.
And most people will respect that, Mike, but liquor courage is also a thing. And when these women are overdue with it, they fucking annoy you, bro, and they will not leave you alone. I'd be the one wearing the ring. My cousin's not wearing a ring. My other cousin's not wearing a ring. They are invisible. But I was not invisible. Mm-hmm. And it comes to a point where I'm like, damn, dude, like women harass men the way that most men will harass women equally, but they just don't do it publicly until they have that liquor courage.
You want to know why some women, not all, women choose to go after the married guy at the fucking club? Because there's no fucking commitment to that after that. There's no relationship. There's no future to that shit. It's just a fun night for them. Right? Again, like, I guess that's your perspective. But when it comes down to, going back to the topic, is I don't think you should be friends with any of your exes. And I know you made a smart move with Andy and that girl that came out of the cuts. You made a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotional tension between having a friend who's your ex. There's a lot of unresolved romantic desire because there has to be a reason why these people, both men and women, keep these individuals in their life. And what are some of the excuses that you heard? Who's ever been in a situation, a relationship where your partner has a friend that is an ex, but what's some of the excuses of them? What are some of the excuses that have you heard of the reason why they kept them around? Let's try to keep this short.
Mosca?
I have a couple of friends that are exes, but then again, I'm
Yeah,
single.
but you're not in a relationship, though.
Yeah.
But still,
So,
I'm
so
single.
Mosca, if you got in a relationship, are those women leaving your life, or are they still going to be friends? How do you feel about that?
I usually stop talking to everybody when I have a girlfriend. The only people that I usually talk to if I have a girlfriend would be you guys. It's mostly the guys.
Yeah, the bromance.
The boys.
Mm-hmm.
My boys, my
Yeah.
bromances. Those are the only people I usually talk to, unless I have that really close friend. And obviously, you guys know one of them. And she goes by Mountain Bear. But
Yeah.
other than that, I don't speak to any other woman if I had a girlfriend now. Going back to my exes, having my friends, I usually get the, you know what, I fucked up. I didn't see what I had. You were right. And I usually get everything thrown back that I've told them before. Like, watch, you're gonna make a mistake. You go through a deep hole. You're digging yourself into this shit. And I always say this to them, and I've always say this to even some of my close friends. I will always be here to hear you out. Whatever happened between us, and that's gonna stay out there. But I'm still here as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust that. I don't freaking trust that. All right, this is the reason why. All right, and I always tell my exes, and I'll tell you, ever since my divorce, most of these women, they be like, "Can we just be friends?" No, can't fucking be friends. And they were like, "Why not?" I was like, "Cause shit ain't right. There's a lot of sexual tension, emotions, history, everything that you have in a relationship. It doesn't just stop because you end the relationship. You know what I'm saying? All those memories, everything, it transfers and it keeps going as long as you know that person. So that's why every single time, like one of my recent ex, she tries so freaking hard. She's like, "Can we just be friends? Can we talk about day-to-day issues?" I'm like, "No, why not?" Because what happens if I get into a new relationship? How am I supposed to explain that to my new partner? I'm like, "Yo, by the way, here's my friend. By the way, we used to date for a whole year." You think I want to go through that drama? Like, yo, why are you friends with her? Because and I don't know how women, I'm not gonna speak on women's house. I'm like, in my mind, if I'm sitting there, I always play chess. A relationship is like playing chess. You always have to be 3 to 4 steps ahead in every aspect, every level of that relationship, in order to maintain happiness or make sure you're doing the right thing or whatever the situation is. Just imagine you're, I don't know, 3, 6, a year into your new relationship. And then you're texting your ex, who is now your friend. And it becomes a constant barrage. Now your girls start realizing, like, why you keep texting her? Why are you texting her more? Why are you doing this? We're supposed to be going this way. Then that starts an issue, the insecurity. So,
That's unethical. That's
exactly.
unethical. That's unethical in a relationship. Like, okay, so you text them to say happy birthday. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
You text them to see, hey, how's the family? If it's that kind of, like, like my wife, for example, she has one that she kept from like middle school, and that's it. And once in a while she'll be like, how's the family? How's your kids? Happy birthday. Those little things.
Yeah.
But what goes further than that? Like, if he starts to shoot a shot, she knows what she needs to do.
Yeah.
Well, I think that text or that how's the family or whatever, in certain cases can just open, all that does is open the door
Mhm.
for more communication.
Exactly.
Which you said that you had said that, you know, it was back when middle school or whatever. Like I wouldn't even count stuff like that in middle school
That
because
puppy love or whatever the fuck they call it.
yeah, because it wasn't serious. It's not anything crazy. I'm more in your adulthood that would kind of, you know,
I'll
mess with today's like
I'll
relationships.
I'll go back as soon as high school. 'Cause that's where you get your emotional, your first love, your high school sweethearts, stuff like that. I would say
You're
it's
on
first one.
hormones back
Oh,
then,
no.
bro.
I don't go
Yeah.
that far back.
Everything is hormonal.
I go for that because I know how I felt about my senior year. I know the feelings I was going through.
I became real close friends with one of my high school exes, real close friends, and we've helped each other through so much. She's happily married, but that door has never opened.
Yeah. I was like, I'm still friends with some that I was with in, like, when I was in junior high, in high school. There's no emotional or a physical attachment there. It's basically just, I think it was that unknown, just how you liked each other type feeling. You know what I mean?
Over hormonal.
Yeah, no, hormones weren't involved back then. Well, I mean, they probably were, but it wasn't anything.
So can I put a note on that one? Can I put on Nick?
Yeah, go for it.
Same setting. You have a really close friend that was your high school sweetheart.
Okay.
Your wife. I said, let's say you're married.
Okay.
Says, oh, how do you know her? Oh man, she's my high school sweetheart. You think she's gonna be like, oh, okay, or like, why are you friends with her?
That has actually came up one time.
Do tell.
Girlfriend I had years and years and years ago. We were out somewhere and we had seen her at a restaurant. She was with her husband and her family, right? So it wasn't that big of a deal. It's like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, introduce, you know, so and so. Nice to meet you. Then after dinner in the car, that's where the conversation came up. Oh, she was really nice. Where do you know her from? You get quiet. You kind of look away. And then I'm like, I used to go to high school with her. I dated her in high school for a little while. She's like, oh.
The O.
Yeah, it got quiet. And I was like, it wasn't anything serious. It's like, obviously, clearly you see that, you know, it's nothing serious. I said, I don't got no reason to lie about it. Like, I mean, if there would have been something there, it would have been, you know, long before you would have been here anyway. So, and that was kind of the gist of it. She never really mentioned it again.
Okay, so I got a question for everybody in this podcast. Okay. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and you're gonna kind of explain your viewpoint on it. Okay, is it okay? And this kind of goes back to the topic. Is it okay to have an ex as a friend in a relationship? If it is, why not? This is from your perspective. Yeah, this is your guys' perspective from the man's perspective.
I'm going to say no. You don't need to open that door. You don't need to give the other person, even though that you're in a relationship, happy, married, whatever the case is, engaged, you don't need to give that other person any sort of attention or maybe even false hope. Because even though you might not have feelings, that doesn't mean they don't. Even if you didn't then, but if you open that door and you started communicating more on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and and then it kind of gradually progressed. What happens when you have feelings for that person? What happens when you catch feelings for that person and you want to tell this person something? Not saying you will, but there's always that possibility if you open the door. Regardless of how much you care about the person that you're with, you can't help what your feelings feel. Okay?
Yeah.
In any instance. So it's best not to even open the door. You don't, what I mean? The way I see it, if you have a friend that's an ex, okay, and you're in a relationship, as long as you don't open that door while you have your relationship, I'm more of the type of person that says, okay, if I don't hear from somebody, and I don't hear from somebody, generally I won't reach out. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh hey, I'm not gonna throw the line out there and see what catches. Because I feel like if you want to speak to me, you're gonna contact me. This is anything. This is men, women, whatever. But when it's an ex, you definitely don't want to throw that line out there, because if you're still friends, they still might be some emotions, and it's just not healthy. So that's, I'm not for that.
And of
Whatever
course, throwing that line out there, it shows that person that, oh, he's thinking about me.
Exactly.
Even when he's in a relationship, he's thinking about me. He cares about me. All right. So that's a good input, Nick. What about you, Lato?
Yeah, I'm not friends with any of my exes, man, because of a lot of people do have ulterior motives. It's been proven with that story that I mentioned earlier. It's proven. Even with Annie, when we're building our business together, Annie never reaches out to guys to prospect clients. She always reaches out to women. So it's yeah, I think that ethically speaking, it's okay to do mental health checks on people, but I think, Nick, you're 100% right. You never know what the ulterior motive is from the other person, what they're going to try to do, and that's where the boundaries have to come in. Where the boundaries have to come in. What are the boundaries? What are the boundaries that you have in your relationship? Mike, Mike has his boundaries. Y'all are going to have your boundaries. Annie knows, bro, that if a guy is like, Annie understands. And Annie, that's why those are some of the reasons why Annie won't go to a bar or anything like that. And I'm really a strong believer in hang out with more people that have a sense of what you have.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a sense of what you're doing with your life. Like I hang out with you guys on here, but a lot of the people that I like, I believe in mentorship, So a lot of my mentors are in a game where that I want more of. So if I want, like, when I first got married, I didn't know how to be married. I only knew what I saw in my household. I only knew how my dad treated my mom. I only knew his behaviors, and his behaviors weren't the healthiest for a marriage. So my behaviors weren't the healthiest for a marriage. So then eventually I found people that had healthier behaviors for their marriage, and I started to learn from them. But we hang out with people that have similarities to us. A lot of the people that we have as our circle are either married, in a relationship. We don't really go hang out with a bunch of people that are single, because then this is a subject we can talk about a different podcast, right? You become what you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
People don't like to hear that shit, but it's true. I don't even know if that answers your question, Mike, but people have ulterior motives. It's proven. It's proven.
So you're against it. Got it.
Yeah. I'm pretty much against it.
Okay. If you're in a relationship, Mosca, I'm talking about when you're in a relationship, is it okay to have an ex, or would you be okay with your girlfriend, fiance having an ex as a friend? Why and why
So,
not?
with me, it's a little different. I know you guys are all against it. With me, I'm a little different because I don't open those doors. Um, and I've heard this from multiple people, and I even heard this from Vato a couple of times. Vato has called me a healer, so I've been helping a lot of people out there, and I helped two of my exes, and they're in amazing relationships now. And like I said, we became good friends. I kept them as friends. But if I'm in a relationship and I recently just got off a relationship, look, I'm not gonna reach out. I'm not reaching out to any of those women. If they reach out, hey, hi, but I'm gonna let you know I'm with the girl. I'm happily taken, just to let you know, because if I start entertaining that, or I even start even replying to a simple hi,
Mhm.
they're gonna think right away that, hey, he's thinking about me, even though he's in that relationship. Like, no, no, no. Like, that's not gonna happen. And I agree with all of you guys. Don't keep your exes as friends if you have a relationship. But the ones that I've kept as friends are the ones that I've helped healed, or the ones that I actually helped out in a lot of ways. And my girl will know. I will let her know. And I've always told most, like, even when I'm talking to somebody, I always let them know, hey, look, I'm gonna be straight out. 90% of my friends are women, but don't expect me to be on the phone with them or TikToking or chatting or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I'm giving you 110%. They come at the end.
Setting up the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's a
you do something, and it will probably inspire her to also do something similar.
that's a topic too. You mentioned the topic. Friends with friends with
Friends with opposite sex.
friends with women.
Friends
Yeah.
with,
Mm,
yeah. That is
Friends
definitely
with
a good
opposite
topic for another
sex.
time. That is a good topic for another time.
Wow. That can be taken so many different ways.
Okay, so we're talking about friends with exes, right? My ex is my baby mama.
that's different. You have
My
kids.
Still my ex.
Yeah, but you have an obligation with the kids. It's called
Yeah.
co-parenting.
Yeah.
See, that's a different level. Like
And the
I
only
have,
reason I brought it is because other people are gonna bring that shit up, and
well, yeah,
we're
but
gonna get commented about that, saying, "Well,
okay,
my baby
yeah, but
daddy,
that's people with
my
not
baby."
common sense. People with common sense will be like, well, if you have kids, then yeah, that makes sense, right? Because it's
Yeah,
called
you
co-parenting.
you have to
But
be.
if people do bring that up, they're just being ignorant and they just want to start a debate for no reason or want an argument. They want to defranchise your
You,
position.
Yeah.
but since you bring that up, that has been brought up in relationships before. Oh, well, you're 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 talking to their kid's mom.
There's a ghost in Mike's box.
What you mean I'm talking to my kid's mom? Of course I'm talking to my kid's mom. I have to communicate. Oh, there's still something there. Trust me, there ain't nothing there. Okay. This is years and years ago. You know what I mean? I tend not to anytime that comes up, it's almost gonna be a dead, it's not gonna go anywhere.
I feel like that has to do a lot with the whole being in control of everything. I think a lot of people that think like that is because they want to be in control of the situation in every aspect. And they hate the fact that they can't have control in that area of the relationship. And I can't really say anything because I'm with the mother of my children, right? But as somebody that works with a lot of people that have their unhealed traumas, that is a control. They want control in every single aspect of how your guys' relationship is. And I don't mean like they want to control you or control the relationship. They want to be in control of anything that comes into the relationship, and they have no control over that.
Hmm. And most times it was like, if I would like, still there?
Yeah,
Oh.
we're here.
Oh, my bad. My phone went to the 20% thing. Anyway, but most of the time it's when I would like, send some money for something. You know what I mean? But it's for my children. I'm not sending her money just to send her money. And then, that also brings up something else. Like, don't, like, if you don't work for my money, don't worry about where my money goes. If I don't have any serious obligation to you, if you're not my wife or something that's serious, where we live in a home, we share bills and yada yada yada, you have to worry about it. Don't worry about me sending money to my children's mother so my kids can get something.
Right.
And it's not even, when you have children with somebody, that's not even, you can't even consider. If people want to bring that up, like, it's fucking ignorant. Okay.
I got a question for you all, because you all have kids with somebody, right? Just adding to what you're saying, bro. My question is, do you feel like the people that have ever given you shit about that is because they don't have that, like they don't have kids, or like is that people that have kids that give you that type of dilemma, or?
Okay, so in that instance, she did have a kid, but the child's father wasn't in the picture. Like, was never really in the picture, you know what I mean? So she didn't really understand. And that goes back to the same thing. Like, after I had children, like, I told myself that I wouldn't date anybody who didn't have children, because they did not understand what people with children go through. I made the mistake, and I did it like, I did it one time, and it was a fucking disaster. Disaster. But that was just me. I don't know about these guys, but
I think the only way that you can have an ex remotely in your life if you have fucking kids. That's simple. Like that, and that goes both ways, both women and men. Like my girlfriend now, she has ex-husband, all 4 kids, right? I'm not gonna freaking get on her case, freaking talking to them. If they're talking solely about the kids and kids only, I'm never gonna have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, co-parenting is important, especially for the kids, bring up and how they're going to be brought up. Because even if they see their parents not together, it's important for them to see them working together. So I don't have an issue with someone I'm dating not being friends, but co-parenting for the sake of the kids. That should never be an issue. And that is the issue with the men and women who are listening to this podcast. Then maybe you should find somebody that doesn't have kids so you can align with them. But solely that's the only exception in my case, or how I see things. Are you allowed to have an ex remotely in your life if you have kids with them? That's it. There should be no other reason. No other reason you should be communicating with them other than dealing with your kids. Simple.
Absolutely.
Oscar, is there anything you wanted to say about that, bro?
Well, I've been in relationships with women don't have kids and have kids. And I think I'm not saying all the women, but I think the most toxic ones are the ones with kids that keep questioning me.
Oh, shit.
That keep questioning me. Why am I still talking to baby mama? And the only reason they say that is because, well, I don't talk to my baby. Oh, you don't talk to yours, and that's you. That ain't me.
Wait till the paycheck start coming in, then they're gonna be like, different story. The child
Yeah,
support
well,
ceases this, they can be
just-
talking. It's fine.
just because they ain't talking, just because you ain't talking to them doesn't mean I don't have to talk to mine. She still takes care of my kids, so I'm still involved. You
Mhm.
do you, I'm gonna do me. But yeah, when I dated women that were single with no kids, they were fine with it. They understood the situation and they knew where I was coming from. Once again, the ones with kids are the ones that are like, well, why are you talking to her? Why are you being this? Why are you being that? Like, yo, just because your baby daddy doesn't do what I do doesn't mean that we're the same. But they're the most toxic ones.
Hmm.
And that's coming to toxic relationships.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. I would have thought that those women were more understanding of your situation, and that's one of the things that, like, these discussions shouldn't happen. But at one point, I once told Annie, because we're like, we need to move on the day that one of us dies. That's got to be a thing. You have to be like, I don't want you to hold off and be like, oh, I'm never going to get married again, or I'm never going to date again. I just need you to be very cautious of the type of people that you bring around my kids. And I told her when that day comes, if it's you first, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to date a woman that doesn't have kids, because I want her to understand my situation as a single father. But hearing you guys talk about this is really, it's kind of eye-opening that it doesn't even matter. If the woman is selfish in that area, she's gonna be toxic about you, having kids or whatever, or not. That's the worst case scenario. If we had ever split and we moved on with our life, like, I would want Annie and I to be good at co-parenting, because it's not about me, it's not about her, it's about the kids, right? And just hearing you guys kind of say that, it's pretty crazy.
Crazy in a good way, right?
Well, I mean, it's crazy that like the women that Mosca has had the most issues with in co-parenting, or being there for the mom of their kids in certain ways to help the kids, that somebody would get jealous over that.
Yeah.
That's totally what it is. They just don't. They are jealous of the idea of their man having that type of relationship with their kids' mother versus their ex having that type of relationship with them.
Yeah.
Kids.
That's
So
what it comes out to.
that is just animosity. That's it. It's jealousy. It's they're missing that aspect in their lives, so they don't want to see you have that aspect. That is what it is.
Yeah.
If you have that type of person, you're dating that type of person, fucking walk away from that relationship, because if she can't have an open mind on what good co-parenting looks like, then you're not the person for me. Simple.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. I'm sure that's why she's an ex.
and maybe it's the jealousy, because she doesn't get that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get that from her kid's father, or they don't get that from their kids. If role reverse, if as a man, maybe he doesn't get that from his ex-wife or whatever, kid's mother. Yeah, dude, that shit. That's definitely gonna have to be a topic too. Especially now.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a good conversation.
Open the floodgate. Open the flood.
That's definitely a good conversation.
Hey, somebody write that one down. Don't trust your memory, fellas.
We got it. Here, we can hear it anytime.
All we gotta do is come back to this recording.
Come back to the end.
Oh man, that's fucking crazy. But yeah,
I think we're all in agreement, though, that you can't be friends with exes.
Exactly. Agree with that shit.
Well,
Thank you. Next.
yeah.
Couldn't have said it any better.
No.
I would drop my mic, but I can't. It's on a stand.
Yeah. Don't drop my phone.
Can't do one of the mic.
All right, we're coming to the end of this discussion.
We've reached the end, folks. We appreciate you.
We sure have.
Now, if you guys have any opinions or a different perspective on exactly what we talk about, you guys could drop the comments or reach out to one of us on the podcast, and we'll cover you guys' questions, and then we'll talk about it.
And if you guys appreciate this podcast, if you guys appreciate the conversation that we had, make sure you guys follow our TikTok account, our YouTube account, wherever this recording is going to go. Show some love, share with some friends. Appreciate the support always.
And share.
And on that note,
We're out.
bring the heat. We're out. Peace.
Bye.